Welcome back to the online sessions on fuzzy logic now. So we'll continue with the topics that are mentioned in the last session on features of membership functions. So in the examination, you have to write the features of membership function by mentioning its definition along with the graphical representation. So therefore, let us go with these two parallelly. In the previous session, I just give a gist of the membership function, features of membership function. Let us go with the definition of this membership function now. So the core of a membership function for fuzzy set A is defined as that region of universe that is characterized by complete and full membership in a set A. That means we already discussed that the fuzzy set is going to comprising of basically two things. One is going to be the value, generic value, along with the belongingness. So the belongingness is normally understood by using the membership function represented by mu of x. Okay, so here it is the existence of a value or presence of a fuzzy value in a fuzzy set is based on the features of the membership function. So the features are going to come with respect to the core, support and boundary features. So now core is going to have always the maximum value of 1, whereas boundary is going to lie between 0 and 1. So the boundary, feature boundary is normally lies between 0 and 1, and support is normally going to be greater than 0. That means when you represent a fuzzy set, we will be having a value on the fuzzy set along with the belongingness. If the belongingness value, in a fuzzy set is going to lie maximum of 1 is going to be always 1, it comes under core, right? If the belongingness value is going to vary, whose value is going to be greater than 0, it is going to be supportive in nature. So, and whose values are going to lie between 0 and 1, it is normally going to be comprising of the boundary feature. Okay, so the same thing has been simply explained in the definition. So the definition is something like the core comprises those elements of x of the universe such that the mu a of x will be equal to 1. That means the mu a of x for all the elements of the fuzzy set, okay, the mu a of x value is always equal to 1. If the mu a of x for all the fuzzy set elements is equal to 1, then that kind of a feature is going to be called as core of a membership function. So that is called core of a membership function. Next one is going to be support. That is, the support comprises, now whatever that I mentioned in blue color, these blue color mentioned things you have to write in the examination, because you have to explain with respect to the membership function. Now for a support membership function future, what we can write, the support comprises those elements of x of the universe such that mu a of x is greater than 0. That means if the mu a of x is always greater than 0 for the membership function, that means the belongingness in the fuzzy set is, the belongingness value in the fuzzy set is represented by the membership function called mu a of x. If a is known as a fuzzy set and x is going to be the generic values on the fuzzy set, and such a mu a of x value is always going to be greater than 0. That is what called the support membership function. The next one is going to be the boundary membership function. The boundary membership function, what I can say, it is defined as that region of universe containing elements that have a non-zero membership. Non-zero membership, that means greater than 0 and less than 1, but not complete membership. Complete means what? It is equal to 1. So it's going to lie, that means mu a of x is going to lie between 0 and 1. So such is the case where we normally going to define a membership is going to be the boundary membership function. So these are the membership functions which we normally going to define, which are nothing but features of the membership functions. So along with this, one more membership is normally holds good. That is called a normal membership function. So a normal membership function is normally going to speak about if there exists at least one, if there exists at least one element of X whose membership value is going to be unity. So let us suppose you're going to have a fuzzy set A. Imagine that there is a fuzzy set A. In that fuzzy set A, you're going to have so many generic values of fuzzy set A, and in those values of the generic values, if you have at least one membership value whose value is equal to 1, then such membership function is going to have a feature called normal membership function feature. So these four are the basic features of the membership function under consideration. So that means here this is fuzzy set A whose value is going to be equal to 1. At least one you should have a member. Member A is there. Now one member is there whose value is equal to 1. So these kind of fuzzy sets are normally comes under the normal fuzzy set feature. Right. So these four are the basic fuzzy set features which we can really write in the examination. Then there are other fuzzy sets called as convex fuzzy set, which is not in the syllabus. So I'm just skipping this concept here. Now, next concept which is there in the syllabus in the third unit called fuzzification and defuzzification. In fact, defuzzification is unit number 4. So first of all, you should know about fuzzification. Now, that means here, what is fuzzification? Fuzzification is the process of making the crisp data into a fuzzy data. Is called basically a fuzzification, process of fuzzification. It is actually similar. It is actually similar to the. It is actually similar to the what is that? Something like a process called sampling process. Okay, or something like a modulation kind of a process. So that means here, in the case of, we already know the concepts known as sampling process. Say where we use the sampling process, whenever we normally going to convert analog data to digital data, we use a process called sampling. Where we use desampling, whenever we want to reconvert digital data and analog data, we normally use a desampling kind of a data. That means, let us suppose there is a computer based system and we normally going to apply some voice data to that, and the computer based data is going to process that voice based input signal, and it converts that to a, once again, a voice based signal to the end user, which is known as, which is going to be a human being in general. That means here, in the case of a speech processing systems, there are going to be the speech processing systems. In the case of the speech processing systems, what is the input we give it to the speech processing system? The input is normally going to be human voice. What is going to be the output from the speech processing system? It is also going to be a human voice communication. Human voice is going to be the signal which is going to be the output of the output of the speech processing system. So in that case, what is that actually we are doing? Imagine that there is a speech processing system. The input of the speech processing is going to be analog signal, and output from the speech processing is also going to be analog signal. But the speech processing signal, the speech processing system is always going to process the information which is going to be digital in nature. So therefore, what is that we normally going to do here? We convert analog data to digital data. The digital data is given it to the speech processing system. Now the speech processing system is going to analyze or manipulate the data which it has got after transformation of digital signal. So by applying digital techniques, it normally going to implement the data or process the data by using digital techniques. So after the speech processing system is going to manipulate data, it has to reconvert the digital data into the analog data so that it can be directly given it to the human being, because human being understands only the voice data in the case of the speech processing systems. So put together, what this particular digital speech processing system is actually doing, it is first of all converting analog data into digital data, and then it is converting digital data into analog data. So same kind of a thing is going to get happened in the case of the fuzzy systems. So this fuzzification is actually the real-time operation which we normally going to perform. In a practical application, what is that we require? We have to apply fuzzification, we have to apply defuzzification. So what is fuzzification known as? Fuzzification is something like transforming, or I can say converting the crisp data into fuzzy data is known as fuzzification. So the process of making or converting crisp data into the fuzzy data is known as fuzzification in general. That means all the fuzzy systems are normally going to process the fuzzy sets. So for that, but the human being is going to be more specific about the data, about the information. So even though the data around us is going to be of uncertain in nature, or of going to be of various degrees of belongingness, but in order to make the final decisions, we always going to bind ourselves to the crisp data. So therefore, fuzzification is the process of converting the crisp data into the fuzzy data. Okay, into the fuzzy set. That means crisp set will be converted into the fuzzy set by a process known as fuzzification. Okay, so that is the important process which we do, similar to the sampling process, or for that matter similar to the modulation process in the communication systems. So which we already aware of that. So that is the reason why I just simply compared this with the sampling system, so that we understand the fuzzification in a very lucid manner, in a very simpler manner. So fuzzification is the process of making the crisp quantity into the fuzzy quantity, is known as basically a fuzzification. Now, what is a real world example of that we can really think of? A hardware system such as a digital voltmeter generates the crisp data. Now, what is this digital voltmeter is normally going to give the data as? The digital voltmeter reads the data from the circuit and it gives the crisp data to the end user. Now these data, whatever that is been given by the digital voltmeter, is subject to an error. So it is always a different instance of time. This data given by the digital voltmeter is going to be different. That means based on the various conditions, circuit conditions, environmental conditions, the value is normally going to be little bit different with the value what it has given previously. So therefore, this data, whatever is coming, is normally going to be in the form of a membership function. It is not always going to give you the same data exactly. So that means here, when the voltage is the input, output is going to be given in terms of various values. The readings are going to be various values. So these various values of readings, I can simply enumerate them as a membership functions. So this is what the concept of membership functions in the case of fuzzy set. So let's say, for example, the membership function is like a triangular function. So so that means the tolerance of the values are going to vary between -1% to +1%. When we imagine at 0, we are going to get the absolute value or a perfect value which is equal to 1 for us. So the value given by the digital voltmeter is going to vary between -1% tolerance to the +1% tolerance. Thereby, we normally going to have a process called crisp data representation. Okay, that means here now this particular outcome is normally based on the membership function. Now this membership function is normally going to give us many values between -1% to +1% of tolerance values. So based on these values, the values are normally computed at the output of the digital voltmeter. So this is what one of the example of data, crisp data, which is the outcome based on the fuzzy set. So that is the reason why we can just go back ourselves and we can think of the various facts of the real world data around us. So the real world around us is going to be simply a simulation of fuzzy data around us. So around us, we normally going to have many such fuzzy data around us, and most of the actions and decisions we normally going to implement by humans, our machines are basically crisp or binary. So even though the data is going to be of fuzzy in nature, but we always end up ourselves with the crisp information or binary information in general. Okay, so this is what the example which we can really think of for the fuzzy elements. And one more concept we're going to have called as a defuzzification. Defuzzification means what? Reverse of fuzzification is called defuzzification. That means the fuzzy data will be simply reconverted into the crisp data, is known as defuzzification. So mathematically, we have to model the fuzzification as well as defuzzification, right? Therefore, mathematically, the defuzzification of a fuzzy set is a process of rounding it off from its location in the unit hypercube to the nearest vertex. That means it has to convert the fuzzy set data into the crisp data, is what called a defuzzification. So both of them are going to be the engineering applications, fuzzification as well as defuzzification. Okay, so this is what we are talking about here now as the process called fuzzification. So in the fuzzification system, we can just simply discuss some system. There will be some system. Imagine there is a system represented by some rectangular box, and the input to the system is going to be, the system may be a fuzzy system. Input of the system is going to be crisp data. Output of fuzzy system is also going to be a crisp data for us. That means what is happening at the interface between the external crisp data and input of fuzzy systems, we normally going to try convert the crisp data into the fuzzy data by a process called fuzzification. Then after that, the fuzzy system is going to take the fuzzy data as the input data after conversion. It normally going to perform some implementations based on the fuzzy data. Just now we discussed about many operations on the fuzzy data, like union, intersection, and applying some properties on fuzzy relations, so on and so forth. We perform many operations and we implement many properties on such fuzzy sets. And after that, this resultant fuzzy set is normally has to be given to the end user. So end user understands the crisp data. Therefore, we normally perform a defuzzification process at the output of the fuzzy system. So output of fuzzy system is normally going to perform defuzzification. After that, it is normally going to convert fuzzy set into the crisp set. So therefore, this is what the process which we normally use in the fuzzification and defuzzification process. And for pictorial representation, we can represent the representation of the fuzzy set information. Okay, so fuzzy set is always going to represent the imprecise data as we are talking about. So we normally discuss about this once we go to the fourth unit, that is what called soft computation and hard computation. So before we discuss about the defuzzification, we discuss about the soft computation and hard computation. In that process, we discuss about the various characteristics of hard and soft computation. And we discuss about the various imprecise data. What is the meaning of precise data? What is the meaning of imprecise data? What is the meaning of uncertainty? Okay, what is the meaning of certainty? All those things which you can discuss as we go into the unit number 4. So as the fuzzy information is normally deals with the imprecise information. The data is not going to be so precise, but still we'll be dealing with that kind of a data. Just like, deciding about the type of the apple by seeing the color of the apple. So apple is going to come up with many color. Even though we say red, red is going to be of many varieties of red. Okay, pure red, absolute red, mediumly red, okay, little red, like that. Many red colors are going to be there. Moderately red, many red colors are there. Based on that, we're going to have the implementations. So all this data for a red is going to be like, imprecise data. So until it is converted into crisp data, that data is simply considered to be imprecise data for us. So that is what the representation of imprecise data here. So as fuzzy sets is a useful but not mandatory step. So in the implementation of fuzzy sets, we always deal with imprecise data, even though it may not be a mandatory, but it is normally useful data in the case of implementations of fuzzy sets. So the idea is normally shown in the figure below. of the fuzzy set and crisp set readings. Now, when we talk about the crisp reading, crisp means what? We should get the exact value is called the crisp. And the fuzzy set reading is normally represented by using the membership functions. That means in between these values, you may get any value. That is what called a imprecise value. So fuzzy sets are always going to give us the imprecise values. So any value in this particular in this particular graph is going to be the value in the fuzzy set. Coming to the crisp set, only exact value we normally going to get. Other than that, we are not interested in other things. Okay, that is what called basically the crisp set. Okay. So how do we get the membership function from this crisp set? By applying the relations and all, we normally going to get the membership function from the crisp set. Okay. That means, say this is the medium voltage value. So this is what exact relationship. That means here from here to here, the value is going to be exact in the case of the crisp set. Now, from coming to the fuzzy set, we normally represent the fuzzy set by using the varying values of the function. So these function values we normally going to superimpose on the crisp sets to get the membership values. So like this, we normally going to get various membership values from the given set of the informations. Okay. So this is what regarding the basics of the fuzzification and defuzzification kind of things. In defuzzification, what is happening? We are converting the fuzzy sets to the crisp sets. Is what called defuzzification. What is fuzzification? We are converting the crisp sets into the fuzzy sets. Is called fuzzification process, right? That means here, imagine that there is a value called 0.3 exactly. This 0.3 exact value is going to be called as a crisp reading. Now this crisp reading we are converting into fuzzy reading by taking a various values between these two limits. Okay, that means here the value is going to change from from this limit to this limit continuously. So all these values are going to be the fuzzy set values, which are going to be improper in nature, whereas reading from crisp set is going to be proper in nature. And reading from fuzzy set is going to be 100% improper in nature. So we're going to pick up one value based on the relations, based on the constraints, based on many other implications. We normally going to read or figure out a value which is supposed to be the value which we have to take up as a resultant value from all these fuzzy sets. So this is what we normally going to speak about regarding the fuzzification and defuzzification. Okay, so a very important concept here, because our practical application starts from designing of the fuzzy system. So designing of fuzzy system is normally based on the fuzzification and definitely on the defuzzification, because human being always wants the crisp data from the as the outcome of the fuzzy system, because fuzzy means what? Fuzzy set is normally going to provide us many values, which is normally called as improper values. But we want proper value from the improper implementations, improper values of implementations. We want only the crisp data. So therefore, we have to once again reconvert this fuzzy data into crisp data by defuzzification process. So therefore, practically, we'll be using a system known as fuzzy system. This fuzzy system is always going to take crisp data as the input, and it processes. This fuzzy system is going to process the crisp data by means of fuzzy set, and after processing, this crisp system is once again going to give us this fuzzy system is always going to give us the crisp data. So here two processes are particularly involved. At the input side of the fuzzy system, we have to convert the crisp data into fuzzy set by a process known as fuzzification, and at the output, it has to reconvert the fuzzy set into the crisp set for the human understandability. So it is almost an analogous to the sampling process or as well as modulation kind of a process. So this is what the basics of the fussification and defussification and the features of the membership functions under consideration. So thank you very much for the today's session. In the next session, we further go with the other topics in unit number 3. So with this, we have covered almost all half of the unit number 3, and we cover rest of the topics in the next class. Thank you very much for the today's session.